What happens when a trail of footprints leads into the dead of night and simply stops? 1959, a winter night in the Ural Mountains. 9 experienced hikers make camp. The wind howls against their tent, but a different sound cuts through the storm. A knife slashing the canvas from the inside. Bare footprints lead away from the shelter, a single orderly line heading toward the dark trees. What investigators find is a scene of pure contradiction, a carefully prepared camp violently abandoned. Bodies are later discovered scattered in the snow, some bearing injuries so severe they defy explanation. There was a force here, but no sign of a fight. The timeline shifts, a farmhouse in Bavaria, 1922. The air is still, but something is deeply wrong. One by one, the Gruber family and their maid are silenced. Yet for days after the murders, a presence remains. The cattle are fed, the stove stays lit, meals are prepared. A single set of footprints leads to the house through the snow, but none ever lead away. A killer who arrives becomes a caretaker and then vanishes into thin air, leaving behind only a chilling domestic silence. From a lingering presence, we turn to a complete absence. Somerton Beach, Australia, 1948. A man in a pristine suit is found resting against a seawall. His shoes are polished, but his pockets are empty, his identity scrubbed clean. The only clue is a hidden scrap of paper bearing 2 words, "Tamam shud," it is finished. The phrase torn from a rare book leads to an unbreakable code and dead-end phone numbers. No cause of death, no name, no history. Just an unsolvable riddle and a life that ended before it ever seemed to begin. Fast forward to Northern California, 1978. 5 young men drive home from a basketball game and are never seen alive again. Their car is found abandoned on a remote mountain road, perfectly functional, with a quarter tank of gas. A trail leads miles through the snow to an empty forest trailer, filled with enough food and fuel to survive. But the supplies are untouched. The men were there, and then they were gone. A series of choices that make no sense, a path that leads only to a terrible, lingering hush. The same shadow falls across different maps, different decades. An investigator kneels in the snow, tracing the edge of torn canvas with a gloved finger. A radio hisses with static. The footprints lead away from the known world, and then they simply disappear. As observers, we search for patterns, for threads in a frayed map. We look for rational answers. Extreme weather can force irrational choices. Human error can masquerade as mystery. Panic has a logic all its own. We entertain exotic theories, secret weapons, strange lights in the sky, because sometimes the simple truth feels impossible. But when all logical explanations are exhausted, when the facts have been checked and the chill still remains, what do we do with a fear that refuses to melt away? For the living, the ache is absorbed into memory. A sister rereads old letters. A community turns rumor into folklore. Today, thousands of digital detectives map timelines and analyze photographs, sometimes uncovering small, vital truths. But this same energy can amplify grief and fuel false narratives. In our search for answers, we must remember the human cost, because some doors will never be opened, some questions will never be answered, and that final, unbreakable silence is also part of the story.